Welcome to Anything New. My name is Matt, and as always, I'm here with Opey
Heyo.
and Pete.
Hello, friends.
Anything New is the podcast where we talk about anything new we've been using, perusing, or consuming. Guys, sorry that we were delayed a couple days this week, but we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it worth it for you. We've got our community watch movie to talk about, Wander, which was Opie's pick. We're going to talk about This Is a Robbery on Netflix. We're going to talk about a little bit of soccer, a little bit of European Super League. We got some pickups. But first, before we get into all that, Opie, I wanted to follow up with you to figure out how your first week at your new job went.
Well, thank you, Matt. So I announced last week that I had some big news, and that big news was, I kind of switched jobs, took a different career opportunity, and I went to a more of a, of course, I'm in the IT profession. It's no real secret that I do IT for a living, and I went to more from a director role to more of a team role. So I joined this group I think we linked it last week at this decoart.com, which is a manufacturer of crafting paints and things that you can do pretty stuff with, which I kind of hope they get over into the model paint business so we can do some, I like the miniature stuff. But anyway,
Gundam models, here we come.
yeah, Gundam models,
Warhammer,
Star Wars Legion, that stuff. I love that stuff, but like mostly Matt says all the time, I don't have a creative bone in my body. So,
Not anymore.
If it's not paint by numbers, probably not going to do it.
Just give me some stickers and tell me where to put them.
That's right. So now I work on a team. There's 3 guys in our little office there, and I've got a nice little IT office, and basically this company is expanding, and there's a lot of projects going on. Just your normal IT stuff. Not so much I think the biggest difference that I'm seeing is most of my years in IT has been more of on a user end type of IT support, where it was always every day. It was end user, go to the person's desk, help them with a computer, or take a call, help a person with their computer. Now it's more, I'm in a production type of IT where we're IT, we have to keep like these machines going. We have to keep the production going. So there's a small little bit of end user type of support, but not as much as it was before. So we're like, we're setting up huge structure, like machines that are going to make paint, and there's a big IT aspect to it because they track all this stuff. There's a central system that runs all this and keeps track of it, and all of that, from the top to the bottom has some kind of IT aspect to it. So there's a little bit of that end user reset my password type of stuff, but not nearly as much as it was. And like today, we kind of all sit together. We all each have our own little workstations, and I was setting up a bunch of little small form factor Lenovo's, these little fanless things that we're going to implement out into the company and out into the plant. So it's been great. It's so much more laid back. I like working with somebody. Some people are like lone wolves, and that's my other job. I was kind of the director, and I was kind of the one man show from tier 1 all the way up to decision making where I was at. And it comes with a lot of stress sometimes when everything falls on your shoulders. There's no one really to lean on in case times gets tough. But
plus is being on call all the time.
Yeah, being on call.
That's for the birds.
Now I got a couple of I got a system administrator and my team lead are both great guys, and the company's been great too. I mean, even coming through just the people I've met, I've already met 2 people that have had like little Grokus on their desk, and we had some Star Wars talk, and we had some other kind of nerdy chat. So it's a good place to work. I'm having a really great time, and I think it was a really great decision for me. And it's been busy. It really has. It's been a long weekend, and just kind of segue. I was going to tell the guys I was going to announce this first weekend also was busy for me because my wife and my daughter they went to Florida, and my daughter, if I've mentioned it on here before, is a big cheerleader, and she does the club cheerleading, kind of like AAU basketball. There's cheer clubs and cheer gyms, and so they go every year to Orlando and go to Disney, and they have a competition and she won. She won 2 championships this weekend.
2?
So
Dang.
2. So
Dang.
she was pretty excited. She's been going to Disney. I want to say, gosh, I don't know, guys. I mean, I think I mention it every year because it's kind of me and my son's bachelor weekend. We kind of, eat a bunch of junk foods, lay
Yep.
around the house in our underwear. No, not really, but play games until the wee hours of the mornings, and have to worry about anybody yelling at you for being there. But yeah, I just want to say congrats to her, and she works really hard. I mean, she practices probably more than most basketball or soccer players or football players I know. She's always doing practices and private lessons and things like that. So she was really excited because that's their one thing. And cheerleading's such a tough sport that it's not like most team sports. It's a team sport, but it's also an individual sport to where that you get one shot. Like you
Right.
get that one. I can't really compare it to anything other than maybe like Olympic sports or ice skating or things that you're judged on. It's tough.
That's what I was going to say. Anything where you're judged by another individual, so there's room for like interpretation there, and like sometimes you can feel like you did really well, and then you're shocked at your scores.
Yeah,
kind of those things. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
with cheerleading, there's no black and white score. You can't do X amount of things or A to get amount of points. Like that's not the way it goes. It's
No
still
triple
like
Lindy's.
it's still open to interpretation, and it's always stressful. But they love it. They had a great time, and she came back a very tired but happy little girl, and I was glad to have her home, and hopefully there's more of those in her future because that's what she loves to do.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man. I mean, hell, Eminem rapped about it. You've only got one shot.
You only got one shot.
And, maybe you should, get one of them schollies, to a big school, take a little, financial load off the old rents.
Yeah, it's a big deal in Kentucky, cheerleading. UK cheerleading are nationally known. They rock it up here, and that's, it's all over.
That's what Kentucky is known for.
Yeah.
Fast women and beautiful horses.
It's like Varsity Blues, football in Texas, but cheerleading in Kentucky. I don't want your life.
I don't want your life.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations to Ava. Congrats on Opie for a great first week on at his new job. We are going to take all that goodwill and roll it into our discussion about our community watch movie for this week, which was Wander. This was a movie that came out last year, I believe. I think it should have been called Four Face because it starred 2 actors who have both played Two-Face.
Oh, that's cool. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, so they should have called it Four Face. But Opie, this was your pick, so why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, like I said last week, the reading the little overview of it, Wander, starring Tommy Lee Jones and
Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah, Aaron Eckhart. That's right. And basically, Aaron Eckhart's character is a private investigator who loses his wife and daughter in an accident, and his wife is mentally handicapped after the accident, and it kind of sets him off down this crazy path. And he's a big conspiracy theorist, like it's a big, everything's a conspiracy. He's debugging, scanning everything that's around him or whatever in any way. So he wanders on to. Do you want me to go ahead and talk about the movie itself? Or
no, go for it.
Well, basically, it starts off with him and Tommy Lee Jones is kind of his sidekick, and they kind of have this podcast about conspiracy theories.
I would listen to a Tommy Lee Jones conspiracy theory podcast all day long.
Yeah,
I wanted that to be real when the movie was over.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden in the middle of this podcast, there comes a lady calls in about something that has happened. Her daughter's been murdered or missing. I can't remember which, but anyway, she wants to hire the private investigator, which Aaron Eckhart's character to find it. And the girl went missing or was murdered. She was found dead. Trying to leave Wander, this town in Wander called Wander. In what state was it in? Did it say Texas?
It must have been Texas. Because
somewhere out west.
I think it was Texas because they were talking about people crossing over the border illegally. So I want to say it was like way southern Texas or maybe like the very southern tip of California. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So anyway, so he goes to check out this really small, like crazy one horse town, and it almost is kind of a freaky kind of crazy as he drives through the town. There's people just, not looking normal. And of course he's stopped by the town sheriff, and he kind of warned that, he's being watched and all this, so forth. But as he's going through investigating this murder, he does all the PI stuff. He goes and sneaks into the morgue and sees the bodies of the people that have been killed, and he's noticed that they're all have this single wound. It looks like a gunshot, like right into their heart. And as he's doing this, he's also having his own kind of nightmares, type of flashbacks of things that happened to him and his family, and among other things that are happening, and people start kind of coming in and out of his life in his flashbacks that he's seeing in real life during this investigation. But it comes to find out that not only were the people being murdered, he stumbles upon this lab where these people were being used as government experiments. It's the whole thing we talked about last week with the monkeys. They're planting chips in people, and they're trying to experiment with them. And if they try to leave, they detonate these chips in their chest and kill the people. And basically what it turned out to be is some kind of a government experiment, which he was on the right track for. But in a twist, he was set up to think that it was all in his head. Roller Girl's character is just, I don't really know. She was kind of like a friend. Did she really say what she was to him?
She was a lawyer. She was his lawyer, but friends also.
Lawyer,
talking about Heather Graham.
Heather Graham, yeah. Lawyer, but friend. Kind of keeps tabs on him. It kind of goes and visits his wife, who's in a mental, kind of in a mental state. She's like, just in a awake kind of coma type of state. And she kind of keeps tabs on him. But at the end, when he comes to uncover all this, he figures out that Tommy Lee Jones's character is kind of in on it. But when everything unravels, they make it to look like, hey, this was all just in your head. Like the people weren't there, the bodies weren't there, none of the stuff that he discovered was there. But in a small little twist, he had mailed something to the Heather Graham character, which was a bunch of pictures he had taken of the actual evidence that the people were there. So they lock him up. They kind of throw away the key and try to convince him that he's crazy. He gets put into a mental institution where, lo and behold, Tommy Lee Jones's character, and along with another character, come back as these FBI type of Men in Black type of agents, and say, hey, we had to pin this on someone. We were going to get found out. We kind of set it up that you were going to get this, that we were going to pin it on you. And he just goes, what? So that just drives him more crazy. So spoiler alert, at the end, Heather Graham gets the pictures. There's evidence that stuff really existed. He locks himself in his room. He takes a pin and he tries to dig the chip out of his chest. It's almost like a Breaking Bad type of moment where he's just, looking up and laughing. And then I guess that was the end. He dies knowing that it was all right. It comes to find out that this whole group was setting this up, and they even set up the killing of his husband, or his wife and her daughter. They thought that it was just going to be him in the car. But it was a movie. This was a perfect example of how a trailer can be so much better than the movie was. Like, I was like, this is going to be pretty awesome. And I just didn't really feel like it had a lot of depth to the movie. I mean, it was kind of an independent film, right?
There's just a lot going on towards the end.
I didn't think they did a great job explaining what the whole purpose behind the experiment, planting these chips in these people were all about anyway. They said they were trying to pass it off as, oh, we can monitor your vitals, and it's a way to, they tried to pass it off as like good for you, like, oh, this is going to help with health and things like that, but they could also detonate it if you tried to leave, so that's not so great. I know what you mean. It was, I really like the idea. I don't think it was executed very well.
No, it was not perfect.
The whole thing hinged on Aaron Eckhart's character being the unreliable narrator. So it's all from his point of view, but because he is paranoid, borderline schizophrenic kind of thing. You don't ever really know if what you're seeing through his eyes is real or if he's imagining it all.
It's kind of like a Shutter Island kind of thing.
Yeah. Made me think of, like Joker, where Arthur Fleck was the unreliable narrator. But I did think the movie was trying to be too clever. So, it's like, oh, Aaron Eckhart stumbled on this huge conspiracy. Oh, but then it all turns out that, it was all in your head. And we just, he was actually the one who killed all these people at the end. Sorry, there is no conspiracy. Oh, well, no, wait a minute. There really was. And, no one's ever going to believe you. And then, I did like it was very Watchmen-esque how he mailed the evidence to Heather Graham's character before he went and did, his final act. And then she opens it at the end. Same thing happened in Watchmen, where Rorschach mailed his diary of all of his findings about Ozymandias. But, we don't really know if he died at the end. He did successfully carve out the microchip in his chest, and he had it in his hand. We don't know if he died from that or not. But it was just a lot of back and forth. And, I wanted to know more about Tommy Lee Jones and how he was involved. Because like you said, he was like a secret government operative. But at the beginning of the movie, it seemed like they had been close friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Right. I wanted more of that. I thought it would have been better if he hadn't been the unreliable narrator, if the role had been played more straight, and then at the end it turns out that it all was in his head, and then it was revealed that his investigations in the past, what happened with his wife and his daughter, led him to become sort of a little bit deranged, and, but we didn't know that at first. I think it would have been more interesting that way.
It's interesting that back-to-back weeks. So last week, we had Jamie Lannister, and there was almost some resemblance there. They both had the issues with their family members in the past. They were trying to get over a bunch of stuff. There were a lot of flashbacks. There was a lot of guilt, that they had. Just a twist.
There was a twist with the cop last week. Remember?
And
then there was dead ends in last week's movie too. Like the fact we talked about that, the factory. But this one, like why the title Wander? Like the city itself didn't really it didn't have anything to do.
Well, that was the name of the town,
right? It was the name of the town, but it wasn't like, I don't know. They didn't really make it a big to do about the town. I mean, it was basically like a garage, a cellar,
it was one garage in the town,
and some people. But what was do you guys remember the message about was it the Navajo plains or so? There was something about some kind of a message before that where it was filmed, like it was filmed on an old Indian reservation. I think. Did you read any of that?
I mean, just vaguely. It said something about just being filmed.
Yeah. But anyway, so I thought it was okay.
It was okay.
I mean, it was okay.
It was cool to see Heather Graham back, and she looks identical as she did 20 years ago.
She stopped aging at 30.
She must have.
Did Diana watch it with you, James?
No.
Oh, I'd like to hear her opinion on it.
She might watch it. I kind of gave her, sometimes I'll watch these and then be like, babe, you gotta watch this. This is really good. Yeah. This one she asked me, and I'm like, I don't know if it's a Diana movie. So she's like, okay, I'll save my hour and a half, So I don't think she would like this one.
I don't think Tommy Lee Jones has many movies left in him, though.
He looks a little on the. He looks so skinny, I like him with about 30 more pounds on him. He just looks frail. Yeah, it makes me sad.
This movie was right at an hour and a half.
Yeah,
and you can tell a lot about a movie by how long it actually is versus how long it feels. Because as I was watching this, I was thinking, oh, look at that. There's two different Two-Faces. That's funny. And then my mind started wandering about, started thinking about, Batman movies. And then I started thinking about Justice League. And then I thought at the end, I was like, that movie was an hour and a half and it felt like 4 hours. Yeah, and Zack Snyder's Justice League, I was so into that. It was 4 hours and it felt like it was under 2 hours. So this just felt like it went on forever. And the pacing was off. And
because I kind of felt like I knew what was going to happen. It felt like you'd seen that story before. It wasn't. Yeah. But it was
I mean, the only real mystery was at the end. It's like, okay, was it real or was it not? they framed it to look like Aaron Eckhart's character had killed all these people at the end. And so the only real question was, did he or didn't he? There was no other ifs, ands, or buts. Everything else was pretty straightforward.
Did Aaron Eckhart overact in this movie? Or do you think he did a pretty good job?
All right.
It felt right.
I just don't feel like somebody whatever
I just
mental
felt like it was in
condition.
his face too much. Like this, like it was always like right up on his face.
I thought it was a little, his he had a noticeable limp, presumably from the car crash, but that was very inconsistent through the movie because when he went to the morgue, or maybe it was
I thought he jumped out of that window.
Yeah, he was jumping out of windows and he was running away from bullets, but then every time he was just walking normal, he was hobbling, but then the minute he needed to, man, he was like a track star.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So it was a little bit inconsistent, but it was all right. I'm not super, I'm not upset that I watched it, but I would never go back and see it again. All right, so before we move on, we've got my pick for the week. You guys ready to hear it?
Absolutely.
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
That's right.
I pressured Matt into this.
No, sir, you did not. You were busting my balls about it the other night, saying, "Hey, Mortal Kombat's coming out this Friday.
And
why
you
can't
were
that
playing
be
it off? You were playing it off like we're gonna watch it.
Yeah, I'm like, if I don't pick it, we can still watch it. It's fine. But no, that I had planned that. Like I've had this plan for like I did the math like 4 weeks ago. I was like, wait a minute, let's see. It's my turn, and then Pete's, and then Opie's, and then my turn, and then what week is that? Oh, that's the same week. So I've had this plan for like a month. So get those HBO Max subscriptions warmed up because Friday is Mortal Kombat. The new Mortal Kombat premieres in theaters and HBO Max, and that is what that's what my pick is for the week. Can you get the trailer?
I can. Do we watch the trailer?
Yeah. Let's pull that trailer up.
All right, let's do that.
Make sure we got share audio this time.
Leave me alone.
I guess I probably should have told you before so you could have had it ready, but
it's okay. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
All right, here we go.
I call Sub-Zero.
First learned about this 7 years ago. On a mission in Brazil to capture a wanted fugitive. When we got there, we tore through our unit in seconds. Target has
fatality.
It had the same marking you do, Cole.
It's a birthmark.
What do you mean?
He was born with it.
It's not a birthmark, Cole. It means you've been chosen.
Throughout history, different cultures all over the world reference a great tournament of champions. That dragon marking? I think it's an invitation to fight for something known. As Mortal Kombat.
These are your champions.
I'm Sonya. That's Kano.
I'm Liu Kang.
Name's Jax.
Kung Lao. Lord Raiden. The fate of Earth is in our hands.
No matter how many of my people you put in the ground,
We will not fail.
kill them.
Whoa.
Sub-Zero.
What?
Get over here.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm super excited for that. And, I've seen, some things online, like I guess the first 7 minutes have been released or something. And supposedly it's everything so far. It's everything that we want it to be. Like, so I don't know.
Did Sub-Zero stab that guy with his own blood?
Yeah,
Yes, he
That
froze
was
his
pretty
own
awesome.
blood.
That was pretty
So
good.
tell me, like, I pretty much like the first I don't know. I remember the Mortal Kombat I remember playing the most was the ones with the androids. They're like robots in them. There was a red one and a yellow one. I think it might have been 3. It was on the Sega Genesis, whichever one it was.
Sega Genesis had 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Maybe it was 2. But was Jax in the first one?
No.
Was he
What
not?
was the original?
No. Kano was in the first one.
Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
Johnny
that's what I'm thinking.
Cage, Kano, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Scorpion,
Sonya.
Sonya. I can just
Yeah, we're forgetting another
2
one.
had way more.
Liu Kang. I used to like Liu Kang.
Who was the boss, the last guy in the first one? Was it the 6-arm guy?
No, it was Shang Tsung.
Yeah, Shang Tsung is like
Shang
the
Tsung?
boss. There was Goro. You're thinking of the 4-arm guy, Goro. Yeah. He was like the next to last or something. I haven't played a Mortal Kombat. I played the first one, obviously, on the Genesis when it came out and in arcades. You know, you had to make sure you went to the settings and turned the blood mode on, you know, because you want to see the blood. But after that, I didn't play any Mortal Kombat until that summer, a couple summers ago at your house, Pete, where we had the gaming tournament. On the PS4. I came back from the losers bracket. And worked my way up to win the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, 1992 was when Mortal Kombat was first released, guys. 92.
I like this this comment on the YouTube trailer. It says, "So what happens when one of the actors forgets their fatality input? Do they just jump in the air like I always did? Remember, like you do that, like you try it, and then like your little dude would like, and then maybe do like a lame punch,
or you didn't even get anything off in time, and your opponent just fell over.
Yeah.
Wow. So wow, there was only 6, 7.
I thought there was like 8. I thought in the first game.
Johnny Cage, the guy that's a half android guy, Raiden.
Kano.
Okay, Kano. Raiden. Liu Kang, is that the other one?
Liu Kang.
Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Sonya.
Henry wants to know if you ever played the Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, Matt. Did you ever get into that?
I never played that either for some reason. You'd think I would. I guess I'm not the biggest fighting game guy, and what little I did play was more on the Street Fighter side.
But Marvel versus Capcom is one of my favorites.
I played a lot of that in the arcade. So I'm excited though. I mean, even though I don't know, I don't. I mean, obviously, we all know Mortal Kombat because we grew up with it. But even though I haven't played a lot of it, I'm still very excited to see this. And supposedly they finally got the fatalities right. Like this is a hard R rating. Yeah. I was thinking today whether I should ask the boy if he wants to watch it with me, but probably not.
Probably. I mean, it looks kind of looks more kind of.
It's still
fictional violence.
It's fantastical violence. Yeah, except that part where Jax gets his arms ripped off. I'm not sure.
So, what did you get? Real quick? What did you guys think of the first Mortal Kombat movie? Matt, have you seen it? The first one.
The first one, yeah, everybody's seen it. Yeah, like a bazillion times. At the time, I was like, "This is great."
How bad was the first Street Fighter movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme?
Oh, that's really bad.
At the time, I was like, "This is okay," because back then, man, we took anything we could get. The 1987 Masters of the Universe. Yeah. We took anything that the Mario Brothers.
I love that Masters of the Universe movie.
That was awesome. I've never seen the Mario Brothers movie.
Oof, it's not even well. I say that we took what we could get back then, but even back then, I was like, "Oh, that wasn't great. That didn't look anything like Mario Brothers." But but we would watch anything back then because. You kids today don't know what it was like to have to scavenge for your comic book and your video game movies. They only came along once in a blue moon.
I think there's a documentary that touches on how groundbreaking the graphics were for Mortal Kombat when it first hit the arcade, because it hit the arcade first and it was kind of banned.
Have you ever seen like the behind the scenes of the actual actors filming those scenes? And
you linked that in a YouTube video, I think, in Discord one time.
There was the guy who did the flying kick for Liu Kang. He's like sitting on a green screen box, but then he falls off.
Yeah. So here's my little Mortal Kombat story. So like every summer, So my parents are, from Eastern Kentucky, over near Manchester, Lawson. You know where that is.
Oh yeah.
But way on, like probably 30 minutes on east from Manchester, way out in the boonies. Well, there's like this little mom and pop corner store, and where you're from, they call it, Oneida, Tennessee,
Yeah.
but where the Oneida in Kentucky is like this
Oh.
really small podunk town. It's kind of famous for their Baptist school. They have like a Oneida Baptist Institute. Have you heard of that? OBI?
Yes, I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of people that go there. Small podunk town, little corner store. My parents have land down there. We'd ride four-wheelers. I would ride my four-wheeler to that corner store. There was a Mortal Kombat arcade stand-up in there. And
Wow.
like I had very little contact for like 2 months during the summers with like other kids, but I would go there. There'd be like a couple other kids there sometimes, and we would just play Mortal Kombat. And like I would look forward to it. Like my mom would be like, "I'll give you, $5 on Friday, if you're good." Blah blah blah. She'd give me $5. I'd go and like play for like a couple hours at the arcade. They only had like 2 machines, and one of them was Mortal Kombat, so I was pretty lucky. Could have been something lame, but yeah, love Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. So anyway, so we can't watch it. So you will only have 3 days to watch it instead of like a full week because it doesn't hit until Friday.
We can do it.
But yeah, I'm excited for it. So so I don't know what this next one is. Whose is this?
This is mine.
Okay. I don't even know what this is. So just go right into it.
Well, it has Netflix on it, so I'm going to guess that it's a show on Netflix or a movie, some type of series. And it's a 4-part series on Netflix. It's called This Is a Robbery. This is an awesome series that you guys should watch at your leisure. It's easy watching. It's it's a classic heist caper documentary about the world's most valuable art heist, and they do a really good job. So I'll just give you the gist of it because I think that you would like it. So I don't want to give. There's not really any spoilers, but I don't want to give away too much because it's
spoiler
cool.
alert. They steal it. I don't know.
They steal it. Yep, and these things have never been found. So I'll just kind of throw it out there. This is
I'm
like
on Netflix now.
$500 million worth of art taken from an art museum in Boston, like choreographed, like it would be like a Mark Wahlberg movie or like a Ocean's 11 type thing.
Yeah,
like it's. St. Patrick's Day, like 1990, I think is what it was. And this art museum, like St. Patrick's Day in Boston, it's like a big event, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like they shut down the city. There's like they're doing some serious beer drinking. Cops are like, probably at the bars too. So they had like planned this heist for like that night. And they like the security guards get buzzed by the outside door, and it's 2 police officers. And there's like camera footage of all this, They buzzed in the police officers into like the little holding room, and they're like, we got reports that there's been a break-in. And they're like, we don't see any signs of a break-in. He's like, well, we're gonna need to take a look and walk around. So they open the inside door. This is like at 2 a.m. They let these police officers in. Well, the police officers then say, "This is a robbery." That's the only thing that they said to the guys.
Whoa.
And they duct tape them up, and they just go on like a spree and like steal like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fine art. And it's never been found. There's never been a trace. And it kind of goes through like all the suspects. They talk about all the art. It's really good. If you like kind of like caper films, it's like that but real. So it's really, they do a really good job with it too. Netflix does. So it's a 4-part series. So I would recommend it.
Yeah, I've seen it in my recommended, and I want to watch it. It looks good.
Wait,
Yeah.
I've seen this one. This one has Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo, and his
Oh,
name
No,
is Thomas
it
Crown.
doesn't. It has Brad Pitt and George Clooney in it, and then they have like
No, Thomas
8 other
Crown Affair
guys.
was about stealing art. Ocean's
Yeah.
11 was about stealing from a casino.
Well,
So my example is better than yours.
I've never seen
But-
the Thomas Crown Affair.
I wanted little known fact. In college, my favorite courses, we had to take 2 fine arts courses. My favorite course was art history. So I took an art history 1 and an art history 2. So this was kind of like right up my alley because my favorite, there's like, they break down, fine art into like periods, like by like centuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like 1600s is known as the Baroque period. It's like these Dutch artists like Caravaggio, Vermeer. Like my first World of Warcraft character was named Vermeer. Little known fact. But there's like all these like, Dutch artists, you know, that were just like they like broke the mold and the boundaries of like what you could do like with oil on canvas. And like so these dudes in police uniforms bypassed all this like valuable stuff and went right to the Dutch room and stole Rembrandts and like all this stuff that's just like from this period of art that I really like. And so I was going to show you this is the most famous painting that was stolen. I'm going to show it to you right here. Is actually this one, and this is a Rembrandt. This was Rembrandt's only seascape that he ever did. It's called like a what's it called? Christ in the sea. Christ in the storm on the Sea of Galilee. And so they stole this thing, and it's huge. And so like just a little bit of art history here. So the reason in the Baroque period, they started doing this like real contrasty stuff with like darks and whites, like to give like a real contrast.
Right.
And that's like this painting is like exactly like. Right. So it's almost like they stole this because they knew like this was like the creme de la creme.
Right. This was painted after the story in the Bible where Jesus was on the ship and he was sleeping during the storm and everyone was scared that the storm. Yeah. They woke him up to try to see if he could calm, you know, the storm, and he ends up. I think this is where he ends up walking on the water after that. But But that's what.
But yeah, so he's like he's just like calm as a cucumber, and everybody's kind of freaking out. This dude down here at the bottom's like puking. Yeah. But it's they're
freaking out.
Just really cool. And you know, I didn't even know this. I think this is new. This Google Arts and Culture, like they have like these really high res prints of like all this like fine art, and you can like zoom in. Looks really good on a high res screen. So
amazing.
I would take a look at that documentary if you're into any kind of stuff like this, because I thought it was pretty cool because it's a little bit of, you know, a caper film and just like the fact that they've never come back, you know, like this painting here that's been photographed, you know, tons of times, and there's high res copies and stuff, but it's missing. Like nobody knows where this thing is. So I think that's kind of interesting.
That's crazy.
Dang, y'all just got a little art history dropped on you.
You did,
You can have that for free. We won't even charge for that.
Like Vermeer's my favorite. Like you know that they've made like a movie after one of them, like the one with Scarlett Johansson, the girl with the pearl earrings. Did you ever hear that movie? Came out like 10 years ago. That was like one of Vermeer's paintings. But yeah, man, check out if you're into that, or even if you're not, like that Baroque period, like Caravaggio, they're doing some crazy stuff, man, on canvas.
It's crazy.
That's all I got.
Man, I had an art history class my first semester of college. It was on Tuesday nights from 6 until 9.
Oh,
3 hours straight. Oh my god,
dude. I loved it. What was crazy was like so I kind of took all this and had all these, like, you know how like you have to buy those big expensive books that have like the high res images in them, you know, and stuff. The book was probably like $150 or something stupid.
Yep.
Well, fast forward, Diane and I went to Italy, and I like took my book with me, and we were like going through like these museums, and I was like, oh my gosh, look, there's that one. You know, we're like standing right in front of it.
Oh,
you know
man. I mean?
It was just really cool. So that's all I got.
Did you stand in front of him like in Ferris Bueller?
I was like,
where they were just all,
what's he doing here? I like what he's doing with his brush strokes.
Well, let's keep it international.
Oh.
And Opie, why don't you tell us? I mean, I could do this, but I want to make sure you understand it. So why don't you tell us about this European Super League?
Okay, so it's no secret that I'm a big soccer fan, and I follow more of the English Premier League and European soccer than I do our own, you know, MLS soccer, because the league is better, or the product is better. But yesterday, oh gosh, I don't want to say. Let's see, what was yesterday? So no, it's kind of so basically what's happening is around Sunday night, news started breaking that some of the biggest soccer teams in Europe were going to break away from their local leagues, and I'm going to try to not being funny, but I'm going to try to put this in the lamest terms as I can put it in for you. But the biggest teams were going to try to break away from their local domestic leagues and form one big super league,
like a Justice League,
sort of.
No, okay.
Consisting of 15 teams, and these 15 teams were only going to play each other, and they were going to allow, I think, 3 more teams. I'm sorry, maybe it was 12, and they were going to invite 3 in, and those can kind of rotate. But the founding 12 members were going to stay in this league, play each other, and that's all they were going to do. The reason that they were going to do this is because the top teams that were going to form this Super League were the wealthiest, the biggest teams in the world. So, just to name a few, out of the English League, the team I follow, which is Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, which is a team in London, Arsenal, which is a team in London, and Tottenham Hotspur, which is a team in London, also were the ones going to come out of the Premier League, which is the team in England. So in Italy, the top 2 teams in Italy, or top 3 teams in Italy, which are AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Juventus, were going to form. And then the top 3 teams in La Liga, which is the Spanish league, Real Madrid, Barcelona, which is where Lionel Messi plays, and Atletico Madrid, were going to all join together, break away from their leagues, and play in a league with no one else in the league. Now, I know it sounds weird to you guys, but this was just crazy, crazy news, because European football and the world football are controlled by 2 pretty much governing bodies. One is FIFA, and if you're a video game fan, you know that all the soccer games are called FIFA. FIFA is the Federation Internationale Football Association.
Corrupt.
Yeah, and they're pretty corrupt. And UEFA is the European governing body, which governs just the leagues in Europe. So,
man, I love Nilla UEFAs.
Those are wafers.
They're delicious.
They bussin'.
So, anyway, so all these teams play in their respective leagues, and they always either these teams win their leagues or whatever, and they pretty much stay at the top. They make the most money. They have the most profits. They get the best players.
Yeah, and it's not even close.
It's not even close. These are the teams where all the best players always end up, no matter where you're at. Even if you're like the best player that's born on American soil, probably right now is Christian Pulisic, and he grew up, and at 17 years old, he went to Germany to start playing in the academies, and then recently he plays for this Chelsea team. Which, did I mention Chelsea? Chelsea's another one of the teams from London that's going to be joining it. But you always, the whole idea was the best teams were going to get the best players. They were going to play each other, and they're going to keep all the money for themselves and just go around the world and make this huge super league where no one come in, no one could leave, no one could get relegated. Because right now, soccer is set up in Europe as like a pyramid. You got the bottom feeders at the bottom, and then you win your way up divisions, and you get promoted or relegated. And at the very tip top of the pyramid is usually the top leagues, the ones that we're talking about. So the governing bodies, which is FIFA and UEFA, they've been corrupt for a pretty long time. Like pretty much, they've not done a really good job. So they're not the good guys in this. But basically, the Super League was trying to find a way to kind of, I don't know if it was like a game of chicken that they were trying to play, like saying, hey, we're going to leave. And they're going to say, no, you're not. But anyway, so the past couple of days, they pretty much been fighting about, since the announcement that was made that all these teams were leaving, there's been a huge uproar in the media and the fans, because basically leaving and creating your own league disqualifies you from playing in England anymore. It disqualifies you for players playing in the World Cup and in the their local tournaments or any other tournament. So basically, if you were going to play in the Super League, that's all you were going to be playing. You're probably going to make triple the money playing in this league, but you wouldn't be able. You were just going to totally blow up the hundreds of years of soccer that's been played and the way it's been played. It's not perfect, but it caused a big fuss. Fans went to rioting. They started protesting, and pretty much as of right now, right before we started recording, it was canceled. Pretty much every team was pulling out of it. Manchester United's board of trustees director resigned. There's people leaving. People like all of these owners tried to get together and pull a coup on world soccer. And I'm not saying they're in the wrong 100% because FIFA was a governing body that was totally corrupt. Like every 4 years the World Cup is played and these different countries bid on who gets to play in the World Cup. Well, the next World Cup is going to be played in Qatar, which Qatar has no footprint in world soccer at all. But what they have is oil and oil billionaires, and billionaire oil money bought out the World Cup. So they had to build all these stadiums. It was a big uproar because there was bribes going on, that sort of thing. But anyway, so just a kind of a brief overview, soccer was turned upside down for about 48 hours. Not a lot of Americans that around could probably really realize just how much, but just being a fan of something, and I'm a huge, college football fan, and I love Tennessee. And, Tennessee, you can see, and even in any sport that you're a part of, like greedy ownership screws fans over, period. Like fans, it costs so much more money to go to a game. It costs so much more to see your players play. It costs so much to you hardly feel like as a fan you get anything anymore. And now they almost tore away the whole fabric and structure of soccer just so they could promote this league. And you know what? Like Matt, you were one of the fans that the Super League wanted to attract. They wanted to reach out. Like this Super League wasn't just going to be played in Europe. We would get to see Liverpool and Manchester United play and in the Titans field, or they would travel all over the world and just try to get more eyes. It was all about money, eyes on the screen, advertising, revenue, all that stuff. And I think some even big billionaire companies like Morgan Chase and some things were backing this. Like it was going to happen if people hadn't stood up and went against it.
It kind of be like if like USC and Ohio State and Alabama, Florida State, Texas, like all wanted to leave their conferences and make like a super conference.
And what I can compare it to is the NCAA kind of acts like FIFA.
Sure.
The NCAA is the governing body for college sports. They make their rules up as they go. People break NCAA rules. Each person gets different consequences handed down to them. Yeah. It's never the same.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's like when North Carolina cheats, we're gonna find something on the University of Cincinnati because they're smaller. We're not gonna, it's so correct.
I know. Then like Ohio State and all their COVID stuff last year.
Yeah.
Like where they had said like, oh, you have to play this many games to be eligible to play in the NCAA playoff at the beginning of the season. Well, then Ohio State had like all those COVID outbreaks, and they only ended up playing like 6 or 7 games, and they said like you have to play 9. Well, then Ohio State didn't have it, and then they went back and they're like, well, we're going to give them an exemption.
Yeah. And so like there's been
total scam.
Yeah, there's been talk in the college football world of making a super conference. Like taking like the SEC or taking teams away from different conferences, putting them in a super conference and governing themselves, and forget about the NCAA, because number one, a lot of these teams could, if they did that, they could pay players. They could pay these players. They could have them come in and they could pay them. They could get the best players and they can compete for the highest level, and they could get like an actual national championship instead of this 4-team playoff now that the same 4 teams are going to be on year in and year out now, because that's the only chance that you're going to have to get winning a national championship now is to be on either Ohio State, Alabama, Oklahoma, or Clemson's team, because nobody else has a chance anymore. But
Preach, brother.
yeah, so that's basically what the fans, and not to say that the European soccer model is not right, because the Premier League, the teams that were leaving, they call them the Big Six for one reason. They don't have a salary cap, so to speak. They have something called fair play spending, or there's a fair play rule where it's supposed to work like this. If your team generates revenue, like money in dollars, you're supposed to be able just to put that kind of amount of money back into the players that you buy over there. So what happens is for some reason they started letting these billionaire oil people, like there's like that team Chelsea that I mentioned, and especially Manchester City, they're owned by outside billionaires, and those billionaires somehow get money inject money into the club to buy expensive players to make their teams better. And the clubs that don't have money in the bank, or big ownerships or billionaire owners, can't buy those players, so they can't compete. Honestly, there's only 6 teams that really compete in the Premier League. The rest, with the exception of Leicester City a couple of years ago, who was a 5,000 to 1 odds of winning the Premier League. And they won it. There's a crazy documentary about it. It's this total underdog story that'll never happen again, but they've seemed to survive somehow, and it's just good management. But the NFL model here is the best model for a league that's out there. The NFL, even though you may not like the commissioner, they gear diversity. Any team, any fan's team on a given year or 2 years at least has an opportunity to succeed in the NFL. If you can't succeed in the NFL, you're just poorly mismanaged, because the rules are geared for the lower tier teams each year. You get the best draft picks, you get the best schedule, so on and so forth. And in the 90s when we grew up, it was the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers, and maybe who was another dynasty kind of throwing the Raiders. I mean, maybe not the Steelers, maybe a little bit, but they had to break up those dynasties in NFL by doing salary caps and creating the draft the way that they did the draft. And it's made, I mean, you can't beat the NFL model.
Free agency, like giving
free agency,
players
yes,
free agency, like.
But
really
the Premier League, they're going to have to, if they want their league to, the soccer is going to have to quit with the rich getting richer. And Texans, right, J-Dub. The Premier League and these soccer leagues are going to have to quit with the rich getting richer, and the haves keep having, and let that come down. Because if this Super League would have went out, it would have killed the rest of the teams.
Sure, my little Everton would have been no more.
Yeah, I mean, so.
Well, I tell you what I think is good about the NFL. It's not just like having the salary cap, like where teams can't go over a certain budget.
Mm-hmm.
They make teams spend a certain amount. Like there's like a sweet spot. You can't be one of these owners like in Major League Baseball, like the Marlins, who are like, oh, we're just going to totally tank for 5 years and stock up on draft picks and have guys that make like the league minimum and just put them out there. Like baseball can do that, and it's like it's crappy. But like the NFL, like you have to spend a certain amount, but you can't go over a certain amount. So there's just like that little sweet spot in between. You can be one of the teams like the Cowboys, who are always like find that luxury tax, and they're like trying to find a way to squeeze that, extra contract extension. And then you'll have teams kind of towards the bottom of that, but they're all close.
Right. But I hope it was a wake up call. Like I said, it feels like FIFA and UEFA won the battle, but they're still not the good guys. I mean, the reason that owners and players, the owners and leagues and teams would even consider this is because, FIFA and UEFA have been corrupt, and they need to change how they do things as well. So there's really, I could talk about it all night. I've watched so much stuff about it, and I know it bores you guys, and I wish, but it does really relate as a fan that, greedy ownership, if you don't stand up for your fandom and unite against people, like doing things to your club, and like I've just seen it all the time with with Tennessee, is just how rough of a decade that we've had, because leadership has been so bad hire after bad hire after bad hire, and no one's accountable. I mean, we pay coaches to be bad. Like they get to walk away with money for. I wish I had a job that I could get fired at and be richer than I was when I came into it.
Well, they see that new guy as like such a bright shining star that they're willing to give them a contract to where, you know, it entices them to come. So like they can take that 4-year contract and know that if they suck, that they'll get some sort of buyout. You know,
agents, man, agents.
It's crazy.
I mean, I'm flattered that they did all this just to attract me as a fan, but I could have saved them a lot of time and told them it's not going to work.
Yeah, well,
because, I mean, they didn't have to do this just for me, but
the
thought that counts.
Let me tell you something, Matt, and that's a good point you make. The reason that it doesn't work for you right now is because soccer wasn't in the mainstream for your sports life and viewing. Like if soccer had been on WGN after you got off school, like the Chicago Cubs were all those years, right, James? I mean, it would have been, everybody would like
for Matt probably down there in Southern Tennessee, Braves, Braves games all the time.
I mean, that stuff, that's what we grew up watching. So baseball, football, basketball, that's just going to be popular. But this Super League may have brought the best players, and it may not got you, but it might have gotten younger audiences and got these players and these teams in front of younger audiences. So that would be more mainstream over here. I mean, I just saw some reports like soccer still isn't as popular. It's kind of catching ice hockey a little bit, but the big three in this country is still football, basketball, baseball, and it will be for a long time. So yeah.
I mean, even in NBA, like we were talking about the NBA in the 90s. Like I watched the NBA in the 90s all the time, every game, no matter which teams it was, because it seemed like there was always an NBA game on. Like it was super easy to watch the NBA because there was always a game on. Yeah. And baseball even more. I don't like baseball, but I mean, if you do, you can catch a baseball game literally any minute of the day. Yeah. Maybe not right now, but Opey, that's awesome.
That was
not quite as good as how I would have explained it, but if that's the best you can do, then that's fine. But why don't you tell us? Why don't you keep that steam rolling and tell us about your pickups?
Listen, I actually put out a few pictures of some mystery pickups, didn't I, this past week?
Yeah, you did. On our Discord, Opie's putting pictures of plastic bags saying, "Oh, I got something from the Goodwill. I guess you'll have to wait and see."
I got back on the pickup train this week. I lucked out a little bit.
I did too. I mean, I'm going to win the pickup game, but
wait, and we've got a mystery. Do you want me to save the pickup that you're going to like for last?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to pick up a couple of things that I bought. Now, this is like we got, ever since the pandemic, we got a lot of people working from home. I upgraded the router in my house. One real pickup. I didn't really plan on this being a pickup.
I got a new Eero, like I told you.
I got a new router at the house, and this is just kind of a temporary router right now. I just needed another. I actually had a TP link. I just needed another gigabit router, and it died on me for some reason. But this is a pretty decent little Asus router that I got on Amazon. Not a bad little gigabit router. I just got a lot of people using the network. I plan on hopefully one day finishing this basement and kind of putting drops in the house. I also picked up a little switch for the house just to kind of get that going, because Marcia, my wife, is working from home and she's on Wi-Fi right now, and she kind of complains about it every now and then whenever a lot of people are using it. So I thought I'd kind of upgrade that, and she wants a drop in her. And I think a couple episodes ago I showed you guys my networking tools that I got, and I was going to put that on there as well. That's
now,
what
hold on a minute.
Yeah.
When you were talking about you need a new router, and I said, hey, you should get one of the Amazon Eeros like I have, you yelled at me and said, I'm a network professional. I can't be working with an Amazon Eero. I've got to get something that I can really tinker with. And then you just get a basic Asus router that anybody can.
The router I want is $360. I'm not going to get that right now. I said this was a temporary router.
Okay, well, we'll see.
When the final product comes in, I'm going to get a little setup, kind of like what James has got down here. I'm going to get a little network cabinet. I'm going to run drops in my house, and I'm going to hook it up. I mean, I may be in another house in a couple of months. Who knows?
There we go.
Teaser.
New
Anyway,
job. You got that new
Hey,
job money ready to
well,
get that new house.
Speaking of that, last week when you said that you had an announcement, that's what I told Diana.
well, listen,
I was like,
just
I
kind of throw some clues out there. We've got my father-in-law's kind of been staying with us since last winter. I've got a new job in a different area of town. Kids are getting a little older. We're kind of wanting to spread out a little bit. The idea's been thrown around. I mean, I could be doing an exclusive, anything new Opie goes house hunting episode.
Yes, and then a Cribs episode where you take, hey guys,
Cribs.
come on, let me show you through the house.
Let me show you.
Opie's pickup in a few episodes is going to be a house.
And I'll get you guys like you guys have seen this room grow. Maybe you'll see like a newer room grow.
Dude, you've spent so much time on that.
I know that's
that room down there, and now you got to pack it all up.
You can move all that stuff just into your living room at your next house, and just tell Marsha like, "This is my studio in the living room."
Yeah.
So let's see what I got here. I'm not going to try to.
I mean, it's no coincidence you got this awesome new job, and the podcast just has been taken off. I mean, it's no coincidence.
So
Sky's the limit.
I found a CD, Rise Against. It's really nothing special. Anybody knows this band?
Oh, dude, no way.
Yeah. What?
Dude, I love Rise Against.
You like Rise Against? Yep. Got this CD. This is, I think they're one of their second album, maybe at all. This is the second one I've got. I've got one, I think their first album.
Is that the one with we live on front porches and swing life away?
I don't know.
Just fine here on man.
I've heard of them too. I know I've heard some of their songs. I can't place any of them.
They're like, I mean, that's like one of my little hidden gym bands that, like, whenever they pop up on my Spotify, I'm like, all right. Like,
we had a little
not so hidden anymore.
We had a little talk about the PlayStation Store going away and stuff last week. I think I found Assassin's Creed for PS3. I didn't have this. I didn't have this at all. So, it's complete.
Very nice.
CIB.
I like these. I picked up the little Minecraft manual.
Oh yeah.
I mean, listen, this stuff's $1 at my Goodwill now. I can't not grab this stuff.
Dude, if you want all of those, I'll just raid my son's room and not tell him, and I can send all of them.
$8. He's got them all.
Yeah,
I kind of like. I like looking at them. Though they're kind of neat. I love Minecraft. So anyway, okay, little VHS time. This is the VHS segment of the pickup. I picked up. Now, this is not a super popular movie, but you don't see this a lot. So that's why I picked it up, because you see the first one more than you see the second one. But it's the Never Ending Story 2.
Whoa. Never Ending Story.
Dude, the first one, like, it's a classic. We grew up with it, and I'll never not like it. But that movie's boring.
This second one or the first one?
The first one.
I like it.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't like it, but I was surprised that me and the boy, he watched it a few years ago. I was surprised he sat through the whole thing. Because even I was like, ugh.
I remember taking a school field trip in the first grade to watch Never Ending Story, and everybody crying when the horse died.
Yeah, well, obviously, that's
awful. Boy.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
you would never see that you would never see that in a kid's movie.
What a beautiful horse, too.
That was rough, man. What was the Swamp of Sorrows? Was it, or was that Warcraft?
That's World of Warcraft.
Okay, what was the swamp they were in? It had to be something like that.
Where the turtle was out there?
No, he was trying to get to the turtle. He was trying to get to the turtle, wasn't he? It was something Swamp of Sorrows. It made him sad. The swamp made him sad.
Swamp of Sadness? I don't know.
J-Dub needs to chime in. So we're going to go on one extreme to the other. So I found this, and I was so super excited because I remember buying this CD, this soundtrack back in the day. And I never saw this movie for the soundtrack because it wasn't a real movie. It was kind of like Thriller. It was just an extended, like, big video. But it was Murder Was the Case with Snoop Dogg.
Murder Was the Case that James. They gave me.
Check that out.
Oh,
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I did not have it, but I had a friend who had it.
I don't think I've even ever watched it. I couldn't have
brought that in my house. My mom would have.
I remember getting this, and I came to Somerset because my mom lived up here, and my mom lived up here in the store in the mall. I didn't have explicit lyrics. I could only get stuff at Walmart where I was from. So I got another pickup this week. It's vinyl, so I'm hitting all of Opie's top pickup stuff. So I got Green Day's, look, the 25th anniversary of
that looks nice.
Of Insomniac. Did you have Insomniac, Matt?
Wait,
This one's it's got
the boy was talking to me upstairs. I missed
Yeah,
that whole thing.
I had that.
25th Green Day, Insomniac.
Oh,
25th
I did have that. I
anniversary.
think. Yeah,
It's got Brain Stew Jaded on it.
I didn't have the vinyl, obviously, but yeah.
That looks
So
nice.
yes, so this is it. This is black. The vinyl actually is black on this. I haven't opened it yet, but if you pre-ordered it from Green Day's website, it came in orange, and it's sold out. I looked around to kind of see because I can scan these in. But yeah, this is a good one. I was happy to see this. This is I was picking that up, but it is kind of flashy. The actual CD, I should have got it. Isn't like that. Okay, Matt, here it is, and I hope you'll be excited. But it is.
Oh, dude, that's the animated.
It is, and look
Dude,
at the look at that.
I've never
Whoa,
seen the
that's
animated Spawn TV series, but it's on HBO Max, and I have it added to my my
and
library or whatever.
This is it. And
Dude, Tony Todd doing the voice of Spawn.
Yep.
Nice.
So
It's supposed to be
do you
really
want me to put
good.
this in your fun box, or do you care?
I don't need it, man. I don't have a way to play VHS.
Okay,
I'm just
but
gonna
it's
watch it on HBO Max.
I saw that and I was like, holy crap! It would be cool just to have.
Unless I ever get like a Spawn figure.
If
that
you get
can,
it like a-
set it up behind. Ooh, maybe.
You get like a Spawn shelf or something.
Yeah, go
like
ahead and
that.
throw it in there if you don't want it. Go ahead and
Atta
throw it in.
boy.
I-
Cram it in my fun box.
I mean, it would just be like a cool
Yeah.
on the Spawn shelf, but awesome. Well, that's it.
Ooh,
Pickup's done.
The swamp of sadness.
Oh,
told you.
this is so sad.
I can't handle this even now. What was the horse's name?
Artux or something I said? Artax?
Artax, yeah.
Oh my god! How did they get this horse to act like this? Oh no!
You would never see this in a kid's movie today, in a
I
kid's
know,
adventure
man.
movie. Well, you would never see a kid's adventure movie. They don't make them anymore, but
Brutal, man.
What a movie!
geez. Well,
I can't believe you think that was boring. That was a great movie.
dude,
Dude, I was like, when he goes through the twins, I was on the edge of I'm like, oh my god, he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. Don't do it.
I had a
the
super crush
nothing
on the
was chasing
princess.
him, and holy cow.
You barely saw her through the movie.
I know. Well, here's the funny thing. There was that period of time, like through my teens, that I hadn't seen the movie in probably like 10 or 12 years. And then I was like in my 20s. I was like, oh, I remember that princess being so hot. I'm gonna go back and watch it. And I looked, and I'm like, dude, she looks 9.
Yeah, she's like 12 years old.
Like, what was I thinking? But I was 9. You know what I
What'd
mean?
you get, Matt?
All right. Well, so that is going to be maybe a little bit tough to
Whoa.
beat, but I think I can do it. So yeah, so we were talking. We talked last week, or we've been talking throughout the last couple of weeks about the whole PS3 fiasco and shutting down the PS3 and the Vita store, and how your PS3 is never going to work again, and blah blah blah. And today they actually announced that, or was it yesterday? I think it was today. They announced that they course corrected. They actually are going to keep the PS3 and the PS Vita digital storefront open, not the PSP, but so you will still be able to buy.
So there you go. There's a good example of the fans again, right? If it's not the Super League, it's the PlayStation Store, and the fans are going to get screwed. We got to stick together, man, and get what we want. Don't let these corporate companies screw us over.
The Snyder Cut,
bro.
We wouldn't have got
there
that
you
without
go.
the fans.
Oh, thank
right.
goodness.
Yeah.
Did you see that Metal Jesus has already kind of taken credit for it? He put out a new video where it says, Sony listened.
No.
Not like
watched that
specifically
video.
for him, but just saying.
At no point does he take credit for doing this.
I just didn't like it.
He's so huge, though. He's just so
Huge.
He's claustrophobic.
He didn't take credit.
I'm fat.
I like Metal Jesus.
You're
Anyway,
a gamer, Metal Jesus. Welcome to the club.
I haven't bought a video game in forever. Like I haven't even really played too much lately. But this whole PS3 thing made me want to, hey, I'm going to go down to my used game store that I haven't been to in a year and see what they have. Well, they don't have a lot. Like they have a lot, but they don't really have a lot. It's like all the same stuff. They don't have a lot of good deals there. But I found a few things, and then I also went out to the eBays and actually got some stuff. So I actually picked up Arkham Origins for the PS3.
Yes.
which I have this on PC. Wanted it on. Remember, Pete, you got that big stack of PS3 games. You had 2 of these. I was freaking out. Well, I love Arkham Origins more than I think a lot of people do, so I got it on PS3. I was happy for that. But then I also, like right around the same time, I found it for a really good price for the 360, so I got it there as well.
Oh, yeah, got to.
And the only reason is because this one, they've got the Return to Arkham, which includes Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, and there's another one that contains Arkham Knight. Those are all made by Rocksteady, but this is made by WB Montreal, so this is never included with the other ones, even though it's the third out of the 4 games, but it's the prequel to all of them. So this was always the outlier. So I was like, you know what, just in case, I want to get it on both systems because it's always it's always off by itself. So then I was looking through some more and I was like, you know what, I haven't played this in forever. I would love to play through this series. And I've got them on PC, but I was like, I want to get the originals. So I picked up Splinter Cell.
Ooh.
On the original Xbox, and this is fully backwards compatible with the Xbox One X and the Series X, so I can play this on pretty much anything that I've got.
Great
but
game.
Then I kept going and picked up Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, which is the second one in the series.
Okay.
And then I kept going with Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which is the third one in the series, and the last one on the original Xbox. All the next 3 were on the 360.
I never played that one.
They're all really good. I think the only one I ever beat was one of the ones on the 360. I don't think I ever beat any of these, but I would love to go back through and play these. And then as I was going down memory lane, I remembered this game, and I love this game and beat it originally, owned it, sold it. Now I got it back. X-Men Origins Wolverine, the Unleashed edition. So this is supposedly based on the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie, which is not a very good movie, but this game is fantastic. Like, ask anybody.
What kind is it? Is it just a platformer?
It's kind of like God of War-ish, like not the new one, like the original God of War. You know, you go through them, hack and slash, you upgrade skills and things like that. But this one is a little bit harder to find. I paid a little bit more for this on eBay than I wanted to, but I was just glad to get it back. I hate that I sold it the first time. But while I was out at my game store, I was like, I want to find. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's so much different than the movie. Like, it doesn't just go through the movie.
It's crazy how some games just like totally look like they held up. You know what I mean? Like, you could totally play this today and have no qualms about the way it looks or the gameplay.
Like to name their top superhero games, and this will be mentioned. Well, maybe it's sort of often forgotten too, and I think you can get skins and stuff, so you could like get like the original Wolverine costume and stuff somehow. I think, yeah. And it's like violent too, like it's bloody, and you're hacking off limbs and stuff like that.
Good choice. That looks fun, man.
Yeah, dude, it's super fun. Like when I first got it back in the day when it came out, I played all the way through and beat it just a few
look at him, he's riding on his back, stabbing him. He's like stabbing him like on Tropic Thunder when that dude's on his back stabbing him in the.
Yeah, great game. Oh man, it's so good. I hate that I ever get
it. Let's see it. Put up your Dukes achievement.
Yeah, that's Blob. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think he finishes him off. Maybe he recruits him to the team. Boom. A solid right. Cool.
But so while I was looking for all that stuff, I was like, I'd like to find Tim. What's up, Tim? Even the reflections look good. Yeah. I was like, I want to go find some Splinter Cell. I'd love to find Batman. I downloaded and played a little bit of the SSX game for 360. I downloaded that from Game Pass, and I was like, I would love to have some of the old school SSX games again. Well, I couldn't find any of those, but I did see these two that I never played, and I think this was getting near the end of the cycle. But I picked up SSX Blur for the Wii.
Whoa.
Which this one has like skis in it too, I think. And then also SSX on Tour for the PS2.
I think I've got that one. Yeah, that one looks pretty cool.
I think these were the ones. This was like definitely after SSX 3 and SSX Tricky and before SSX on the 360. But I wanted to try these out too. Just any SSX. I was just trying to get those. I would still love to go back and get SSX 3.
This is Blur on the Wii.
I mean, it looks fun. I mean, it's arcade snowboarding, which is I like that better than actual sim snowboarding.
Oh, you can ski. There's somebody in skis too.
Yeah. And then I got one more thing which is not a video game.
Uh-oh.
But I pre-ordered this a long time ago, and it finally came in. I got the Marvel Select Hulk.
Ooh.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this isn't a Marvel Legends. Let me move it over here out of the logo. It's not a Marvel Legends, but I got a regular Marvel Legends for scale.
Opie knew that you were doing that, so he wore his Hulk shirt.
Oh, word, of course. So that's how much bigger the Hulk is compared to a regular Marvel Legends.
Yeah, Hulk's awesome.
And I was like, gosh, do I open him or not? The box is beat to hell, and one of his hands is like rolling around in there.
Yeah, open
so I'm definitely going to open him. But he's so big, and I've been waiting for like a week to open him, because I wanted to show it in box.
How big is he compared to your Red Hulk Legend?
Bigger.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, these Marvel Select lines are a little bit bigger. He's got like I don't know what this is from, but he's got like a half robot head that's like got a half robot face.
Oh, that's from issue 72. Where
okay, cool.
Fell into the molten iron pit. And
that's when he was
actually, there's not a Hulk issue number 72 because it was Tales to Astonish. But anyway, we won't go into it. But
actually,
no. But yeah, I was excited to get this. He's super huge, and I'm gonna set him behind my other Avengers. And that's it. So yeah. I thought that was a pretty cool game haul. I mean, I'm almost done with my game haul for a while. Like, I'd like to get the other 3 Splinter Cells to round that out, and I'm always on the hunt for the older SSX games. But, I just wanted to get those ones. Like, I'm not going to continuously go out and get them, but those ones specifically, I was really looking forward to getting.
Cool, man. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to. I think the Resident Evil game comes out in the next couple of weeks, doesn't it?
I'm not
Resident
sure.
Evil Village.
Yeah,
I think so. I think in the
there's
next week, it looks so
there's a
good.
demo on PlayStation right now.
Yeah, there is. But yeah, that looks good. So that might be coming up for me to get soon.
Ooh, did you play 7?
No, I played the remakes, but I didn't play 7.
I didn't play 7. I want to play 7 first because I think the end of 7 leads straight into 8.
Oh, does it?
I'm pretty sure. Or there's like a post-credit scene in 7 that leads into. I'm not real sure, but there's something about it. Like 8 is a continuation of 7.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones aren't like super duper hardcore one leading right into the other. 7 and 8 are continual like that.
All right, time for my pickups.
Yeah.
I picked up 7 big bushes and planted them out in my yard this week.
Okay.
And when I say big bushes, they're 7 feet tall. And probably about a 200-pound root ball. Like, these things are massive. So yeah, that took up pretty much my whole week. I kind of dug, I dig like a hole or two in an afternoon because I have to dig down probably like almost 3 feet, probably like 3 feet wide. So I mean, it's a massive hole. So I worked on that all week. So it looks like we lost Oakster.
And we left.
He's like, screw your trees. Yeah. I'm out of here.
Thanks, Tim. Resident Evil Village, May 7th.
Oh, yeah. May 7th. So that's coming up. It looks so good. If you guys haven't seen the trailer for that or some gameplay footage,
I just don't know if I'm brave enough to play it.
Dude, they did a good job making it spooky. It looks good. So I'm excited about that. All right. That's all I got. I worked on that. Worked in the yard. That's about it.
Well, yeah, giant bushes, video games, they're the same.
Yeah. Like, literally, I came down here into my little computer man room and was like, I haven't been down here in like 5 days.
It feels neglected. It's all cold and like, I hope my computer still works.
Didn't realize I'd left all my LEDs on for the whole time that I wasn't down here. I'm like, oh, geez.
That's a testament to their durability. They last.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up. I don't know where Opie went, but we will go ahead and sign off with some social medias. You can check us out on Twitter at Anything New Cast, Instagram, Anything New Podcast, where I promise I'm going to try to be better about posting pictures of our pickups so that for those listening in audio format only, you can see the pickups on Instagram. You can also send us an email, anythingnewpodcast@gmail.com. We've still got some games to give away, guys. If you just send us an email and just talk to us because we're lonely.
I got some Steam keys I could give away.
Yeah, we just want you to be our friends. You can check us out on YouTube, which we're broadcasting live on right now. We don't have a vanity URL, but we do have a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly/anything new YT for anything new YouTube. And then Discord is another bit.ly link, bit.ly/anything new Discord, and then the number 1 on the end. And we're also streaming live on Facebook. If you just go to Facebook and search Anything New Podcast, you should find us. But yeah, join our Discord too, because we have a channel there talking about our collections, and then we've got some other members of our community in there posting pictures of their pickups and stuff. So, we're having, we're all trading pickups and pictures and all that kind of stuff. And Opie just sent us a message saying that one of his surge protectors tripped, so I guess he lost power somehow.
It may have been that new router. He should have got a euro or whatever you told him to get.
I mean, my Amazon Euros have never tripped my surge protector, but whatever. What do I know? I'm not a network professional in IT like he is. Pete, is that it? You got anything else?
That's it, man.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you watching. Don't forget to watch Mortal Kombat starting Friday. Anytime between Friday and Sunday, watch it, and we're going to talk about it next week. Until the next one, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
See ya.